Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palet, Josh Palet, and Mario Herron. Again, the Chargers aren't playing in the Super Bowl. Everybody already knows that by now. It's a big week, and of course, leading up, it's a 2-week span, but there's always news, and there's Charger news as well as we start today's show. Guys, since we got off there the last show, the Chargers have found an offensive coordinator. And at first, a lot of people, with their opinions, upset, and then some people said, well, maybe wait a second, maybe Kellen Moore's a little bit better than what we thought. When the Chargers made the hire to say Kellen Moore's our new OC, what was your immediate reaction?
My immediate reaction was that I liked it. I didn't even know he was going to be available. Everybody raves about how Kellen Moore is the next up-and-coming head coach. I thought it would be a lateral move if he did go to the Chargers, if he was retained by the Cowboys. I like the move. Obviously, the Chargers liked it so much that they hired him, it seemed like right away. So you look at his numbers with the Cowboys, he was like second, third, or fourth in all the major statistical categories on offense the last 3-4 years he's with the Cowboys. So I do like the move. Kellen Moore has been getting so much hate for that stupid play he ran at the end of the game that people forget that he actually did a good job with the Cowboys.
I loved the move in every single way. You mentioned it, Josh. I remember early last year when the Cowboys were rolling and Kellen Moore was getting talked about for a head coaching job going into the offseason. Like, he got a lot of hype. I didn't understand that the Cowboys let him go. That surprised me in itself. I think it was one of those situations, once again, where he was the scapegoat, where it's like the Cowboys need to make a move. It didn't make sense to fire McCarthy with his Super Bowl ring in his office and back-to-back playoff experiences. Someone's got to go. Dan Quinn, you can't fire him because he's been a success over there. So it's Kellen Moore. And I'm a huge fan of it. And for the sole reason that he can do what Lombardi was allergic to doing, and that was score in the second half and score in the freaking third quarter. Lombardi had no idea how to do that, even if you gave him a first grade book of how to do it from page to page, and it's read to him over and over again. Dallas was fifth best in offense in the third quarter this past year. Chargers were 29th. Dallas had the second best second half offense in 2022, and the Chargers were 28th. So I'm a huge fan of the hire. Kellen Moore can keep us rolling. I love it all day, bolt up. I think it's a great move, a move that they had to make.
Yeah, we're 3 for 3 on this one. I agree. I think this was a very good hire. And matter of fact, I think it's one of those the Cowboys will come back to say we made a mistake. Maybe they fired the wrong coach. McCarthy maybe should have been the guy that was let go. But I don't think you had to fire a coach if you're Dallas. I mean, you're Dallas. You were a game away from being in the NFC Championship game. And then you say, we've got to make a move. I mean, sometimes teams make moves just to make moves, which is very strange because the Cowboys held on to Jason Garrett forever when it seemed like Jason Garrett should have been shown the door. And everybody was saying that he needs to go. All of a sudden, Kellen Moore is gone. I think, just like you said, Mario, you hit it right on the head. I think it was a scapegoat move by Mike McCarthy to say, we struggled because of this. Look, when you look at what Kellen Moore has done now, if I were to ask you guys off the top of your head, how long has Kellen Moore been the OC? I think you would say more than 4 years, right? I mean, it seems like he's had that job a long time. Well, he only had the job 4 seasons. And so in 2019, he averaged 27.1 points a game. Okay, very good, right? So in 2020, that was his worst year, 24.7 points a game. In 21, 31.2 points per game. And last year with the Cowboys, 27.5 points a game. Okay, the Chargers last year with Lombardi averaged 23.4 points a game. I mean, that's a big damn difference. When you look at final scores, the Chargers, and you look at losses, and you always say how it comes down to one possession games, to know that there's a difference of 4 points, that's a big deal. And so for this hire to become available, and again, as a young guy, Kellen Moore is one of those guys that, we saw him in college at Boise State. And, it's really one of those things where we don't talk about Boise State football anymore. But when Kellen Moore was there, you did, because he was 50-3 as a starting quarterback. The guy was a tremendous player. He didn't have NFL talent. He didn't have the arm. I think everybody knew it when he was in college and get an opportunity with the Lions and with the Cowboys. And he proved he wasn't a player, but as a coach, being a coach's son. I don't know if you guys looked up his family at all, but, his dad was a coach for 22 seasons at the high school level, won 4 state titles, was a tremendous coach. So he's always had, football in his blood. As a quarterback, Josh, you know how much that you end up picking up the average player doesn't pick up. So this is all he knows. I mean, this is his expertise, is offensive football. And for the Chargers to grab him and not hesitate to grab him and didn't let someone else get him, fantastic move. A lot of people you're seeing saying, well, how do they not look at a guy like Leftwich? So Leftwich had success, obviously, with Tampa Bay. Leftwich was 25th in offense last year with Tom Brady, with Mike Evans. Whereas the Cowboys not only knocked out Tampa Bay on the road, but Kellen Moore has proven he can put points on the scoreboard. And if you look at the Cowboys' weapons, you guys tell me if I'm wrong on this. When you look at the Cowboys' weapons and you look at the Chargers' weapons, who has the better offensive talent? It's the Chargers.
Healthy Chargers. Healthy. Well, the thing is, this is the thing. The Chargers weren't healthy. Yeah, no, the Chargers. This is the thing. The Chargers were never healthy last year. You're talking about a healthy team, or you're talking about this past season?
Everybody full, ready to go.
Everybody full strength. It's the Chargers, and we all agree the Chargers are a top 5 most talented team. Yeah, it's not close. But the Cowboys had talent too. They had 2 running backs that were top 10 in the league in rushing touchdowns. What happened? What was that?
They had one. They had Pollard. Ezekiel, man, is a charity case.
How many touchdowns do you think Ezekiel Elliott had this season? How many touchdowns do you think Ezekiel Elliott had?
I'm going to go, just off the top of my head, I'm going 11. What do you have?
You have 12. He wasn't any good, but he had 12 touchdowns. Tony Pollard was obviously the better running back. Here's the thing the Chargers have been missing is 2 running backs. When have the Chargers ever had 2 running backs? If you're going to count Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler, that was the last time that's happened. Josh Kelly, we'll get into the draft stuff later on, but Josh Kelly, if he produced at the level that Ezekiel Elliott did, even though Ezekiel Elliott wasn't much, Chargers would still, maybe be in the Super Bowl right now. That's what the Chargers have been missing all season was 2 running backs. Kellen Moore made the most with little. I think Cooper Rush was he undefeated with Cooper Rush? Maybe 1 loss. Cooper Rush was winning the games. I think he was the complete scapegoat for the Dallas Cowboys. If I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm breathing, way easier now, thinking I'm the one that should have got fired. Kellen Moore is about to take my job, but they do a role reversal and go the other direction. I think it's ridiculous. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm very upset. I want to see what Dak Prescott looks like next season without Kellen Moore because I think he was one of the best OCs in the NFL the last handful of years.
I agree in the manner of it's going to be an upgrade for Moore with going to Herbert instead of Dak because Dak's a roller coaster, and that's not a roller coaster I'm paying to be on. And if you look at the receiving core, I would take our receiving core just with the top 2 of Allen and Williams. And then running back, I would say Eckler is better than Pollard, and he's better than Elliott. But Pollard and Elliott combined wipes out the Chargers beyond belief. O-line, you got to go to the Cowboys, but a good OC, a good quarterback can make your O-line look better than it should. And I think the other thing, too, and you mentioned it, Josh, the fact that earlier this year, there was a debate about if Cooper Rush should be the starting quarterback or not for the Dallas Cowboys over Dak. I think that screamed more to the job that Kellen Moore did and less to the play of Cooper Rush, right? Because that means that he was prepped. He was ready. Everything that the other team threw at him was something that he saw in practice, was something that Kellen Moore goes, this is what you're going to see. And I think anytime you have a backup QB that comes in and plays above the standard that he was set at, that screams coaching. That screams the preparation. That screams that there's a solid system in place for this guy to succeed. And that's what excites me about Kellen Moore. The fact that he was able to have success with Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott, give me him. Like, absolutely give me him. I mean, that's already an upgrade to Lombardi. We haven't played a snap yet. I'll take that any second of any day. Now, like the win-loss thing of the Dallas Cowboys and like the last play that happened in the playoffs, yeah, that happens. But at the same time, wins and losses, I don't think can be completely pinned on offensive coordinators, defense coordinators. At some point, the head coach got to pop his head up and take a punch, So that's when I think, man, is that really on Moore or is that really on Big Boy McCarthy greasing up his fingers and screwing up like he did Aaron Rodgers? That I thank him for every single day. I mean, God bless the man. Keep him in Dallas. Guy's a king.
So I thought the Cowboys, and everyone remembers the last game, you put that on Dak. A lot of times the quarterback gets too much credit, and obviously he gets too much heat for falling apart. Dak did not play well in that game. And you said it right there, Mario. The guy's a roller coaster. That's not on Kellen Moore. I mean, he calls the plays, and Dak has to execute them. I mean, you're throwing interceptions in big-time games, and you're falling apart. And we talked about the difference when you look at a Dak Prescott compared to what Jalen can do, or we can do what Mahomes can do, 2 guys that are in the Super Bowl. And those guys are able to improvise, use their legs. Dak is you go to the store, the mold of what a quarterback's supposed to look like. I mean, that's just what he is. Justin Herbert has ability and weapons that I think Kellen Moore is going to love working with. I think player for player, look, CeeDee Lamb's a hell of a talent for the Cowboys, but player for player, I'd take the Charger guys on offense like crazy. Offensive line, of course, I would take the Cowboys offensive line over what the Chargers have. I'm looking forward to seeing Kellen Moore here. I think it was a great hire, better hire than I thought it was when it was initially announced. It took me a while to do some deep dive into it. A buddy of mine is former Charger backup quarterback Babe Laufenberg, and he's the analyst and on radio for the Cowboys, has been for years. He's been there as long as Kellen's been there. He said this guy is really good. He goes, Los Angeles is going to love having Kellen Moore as a guy on their coaching staff. And don't be surprised, man, how things, if they go bad next year, that Staley's out and Kellen Moore becomes the head coach. Because head coaches all of a sudden that we were looking at all of a sudden from the offensive side of things are starting to disappear pretty quick. And a guy that we were looking at altogether. All of a sudden, we find out, guys, right now, as we're doing the show a few minutes ago, that Staley is the only defensive coach that's a head coach in the AFC West. The only one left. Everyone else is an offensive mind. So we found out, spill the beans, because by the time everyone listens, everybody knows, Josh, that Sean Payton is now the head coach of the Denver Broncos. We missed out.
Yeah, we missed out. The crazy thing about the Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I'm going to get, it's like a backhanded compliment. I think the Chargers did a fantastic job jumping on the Kellen Moore situation as quick as possible, but waiting to get Sean Payton was just the opposite. Like, he was there, he could have grabbed him. It hurts more than anything that he goes to the Denver Broncos. I still don't understand why he'd go to that situation. He obviously sees something that we don't, but then you find out that the Houston Texans, he was their second option, because they got D'Amico Ryans from the 49ers. The whole thing's absolutely nuts. I know Mario wants to talk about it. It's crazy. I can't believe that Sean Payton's in the same division. Early offseason move of the year for the AFC West, might be the best offseason move in the next couple years for the AFC West. When you get a head coach like that in your division, it's a huge problem.
I think it's just interesting, before I go in the anger of Payton going to Denver and the kick in the nuts that it is. I think it's interesting that the Chiefs advanced to the Super Bowl, and it's like every AFC West team's like making a move now. Chargers go get Kellen Moore, right? And then Broncos don't get their first option, but their second option is a Super Bowl winning coach, which is just crazy to me. It's like, dude, I just sell out for Payton no matter what. And now I'm like, okay, now what are the Raiders going to do, right? Like, that's all eyes on the Raiders. Derek Carr's not coming back. You still have Josh McDaniels because you can't pay off another guy. So what the hell are you going to do in that situation? Is Rodgers coming? Is, I don't know, Lamar Jackson coming? Who's going to Las Vegas? Like, that's damn worries about me. That worries me of what's going to happen next in Oakland. And get into the Sean Payton. I'm with you, Josh. I can't freaking believe it. We were saying we've never been so wrong, dude. We spent so many times on this podcast going, no shot he goes to Denver. Makes no sense. Yeah.
Not me. You two.
No, yeah. I know. It's Josh and I. And you know what? I'll do it again. I'd stand by Josh. I mean, I'd say it again. Like, I don't get it. It makes no sense. You do not have a first pick this year or next year. So it still doesn't make sense to me, but it sucks. 3 Super Bowl winning coaches. Josh McDaniels didn't win one when he's head coach, but still 3 ones with rings. Well, we got Fart Boy on our sideline.
All right, now here, I said Sean Payton was going to take this Denver job because it's ego. When you're going around town and everyone's telling you how great you are. I mean, if you walked by the 3 of us, we'd be telling Sean Payton too how great he is. So you start to believe it. You can fix anything. And you go, I can fix Russell Wilson. I've done it before. That's who I am. I can fix this. When you look at the weapons he has at receiver, yeah, that seems pretty exciting, right? What Denver has. They have 2 very good receivers. The running game is obviously they've got old man Murray back there. But the Broncos, you just mentioned, when are they going to get a first-round pick again? The Rams are like, man, you're running out of first-round picks. You got a little bit of a train wreck going on right now if you don't fix this thing quickly. But for Sean Payton, it was weird. It almost felt like he panicked. It's kind of strange. We always say it's like musical chairs. You got to hurry up and grab something. When you're in Sean Payton's position, you don't have to hurry up. You could have sat out another year and waited for a better situation, whether that was the Chargers, whether that was the Dallas Cowboys. You could have really found a spot you feel more comfortable in. Obviously, he's lived in both areas, meaning Dallas and Los Angeles. But to go to Denver, where this could be what he's known for the longest time, to go, shoot, man, I went to Denver and I was a Super Bowl winning coach, and I was known for what I did with the Saints and Drew Brees, and all of a sudden I crashed and burned with Denver. What am I? You know, it seems like a gamble in career-wise going to the Broncos.
And it's like, I hope you love the roster. Like, that was my first thought, is like, are you in love with this roster? It's a talented roster, but like, it's nothing, I don't know. It's nothing to jump up and down about. Because if you want to make a move, how are you going to do it? You know, like, how are you going to do it? So that's the other thing that's just interesting to me. And the Russell Wilson thing, I mean, I don't know. The thing that also worries me now is that is just two hard places to play away games that just became 10 times harder. And the other thing that worries me too is how many fans just saw Sean Payton not go to the Chargers, go to the Broncos, and go, why am I cheering for this Chargers team when the Super Bowl winning coach just went over there? So that's a worry for me too, of like what could happen with that. Just all in all, man, this just feels like the biggest, like, just like it was the 48 hours of I like where we're going. Like this, I feel comfortable for next year. Like Kellen Moore's a very, very good hire too. All right, we're the third best team in the division right now. With Sean Payton as a head coach, we're the third best team.
You feel that way? You feel like we're the third best team now?
Yeah, 100%. That big of a coaching advantage, yes.
Does it hurt you more that Sean Payton went to the Broncos or that the Chiefs made the Super Bowl?
Payton Broncos.
Really?
Because
watching Patrick Mahomes limp his way to the Super Bowl really hurt, dude. And Dave pointed out he limps more when he throws an incomplete pass, and he made it to the Super Bowl. The whole thing sucked. Sunday sucked for me. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't feel the same way.
No, I hate the Chiefs. Yeah, no. Yeah. Okay, so a couple things. Number one, Mahomes, again, tremendous talent. That is 100% true. I went and rewatched that game. Every time he threw an incomplete pass, the guy's limping like, it's like in a wooden leg. And otherwise, he'd forget. Like someone had to whisper in the microphone in his helmet, "Hey, dude, don't forget to limp. You got to limp again. You got to show it's bad." I'm like, come on, dude. What's going on, Patrick? Not a very good actor. Mario, I do disagree with you on this. I do think the Chargers are the second best team in this division. And I don't think it's close. I think it's really two top teams and then two teams at the bottom. Denver was terrible last year. I don't put that all on head coaching. Russell Wilson is terrible. He's absolutely terrible. And as good of a coach as Sean Payton might be, I don't think you can fix that. I think Russell Wilson's honestly in the downside of his career, and I don't think he ever comes back. Am I wrong?
I'm with Dave. No, I'm with Dave. I just thought the Broncos were so bad last year. Even if Sean Payton is amazing as a head coach, which he probably is, you still have Russell Wilson who he still needs to make the passes, right? People would always say in Seattle, if you watch the games, the defense would carry him with the Legion of Boom, and then Marshawn Lynch would carry the offense. They were run-first offense. It was flip-flopped in Denver, and we saw what happened. So Sean Payton, how good of a head coach are you? If you're absolutely the best, maybe you can make it work. But right now, Russell Wilson sucks. Like, the dude sucks. Like, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'm with Dave. I just don't see it working.
I see it working for just Drew Brees couldn't throw a football above more than, 15, 20 yards his last couple of years with the Saints. And, like, Peyton managed it. He managed it, and he was fine. Defense is still very, very strong. I know Fangio's in Miami, but now there's, like, I don't know. It's, like, weird
Some kind of weird controversy going on that it's not a done deal.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't know. I doubt he goes to Denver, but still, I imagine that.
I think he goes to San Francisco.
Oh, God.
I think that's what he's holding out for. I think he goes to the Niners.
That's a super staff, man.
What would you do? I mean, if you're him, what would you rather coach? Rather be the Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator or the 49ers defensive coordinator?
Oh, to face that division? Niners.
Dude, look at the talent he has. Why wouldn't you go to the Niners? I think he was holding out for Ryans to get hired with the Texans. Just my guess. I have no idea. I'm not talking.
No, you're right.
I'm just saying that makes the most sense.
Yeah. Does
I don't know. Again, that's just my prediction. I don't know. So real quick, you touched on the Raiders. I don't want to move off the division until we get to other things. But real quick on the Raiders, there's been so much talk about you and I and Josh and Mario and I all did the whole thing as far as what quarterback we thought was going to end up with the Raiders. There's been some other things that have come out in the last few days. So Nathaniel Hackett becomes the OC with the Jets. They say the rumor is for that was to hopefully pull off a trade with the Packers to get Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers back together. Okay, so we all agree that if the Packers do make a trade for Aaron Rodgers to go, it's time to say goodbye, that they're going to ship him to the AFC, right? We don't think they're going to keep him in the NFC. He goes to the AFC, the Jets become a possibility, which would be really weird. Wouldn't it be like, Brett Favre with the Jets move, leaving the Packers, going to the Jets? And then Aaron Rodgers would go to the Jets. The other rumor is, Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders. We've heard of that one as well. You're hearing the 49ers now, even though the Brock Purdy will be back for the season. He's out for 6 months. Whether he has the surgery or doesn't have the surgery, he's out 6 months. But they say he'll be back ready to go for the season. People are saying if you look at Brock Purdy, there are things in there that you question, that maybe he's not the guy. So the 49ers have major decisions. You're hearing with the Niners, is it Tom Brady? Do you go after him, bring him back to the Bay Area? Do you go Trey Lance? Do you say Aaron Rodgers? We made a huge mistake in the draft all those years ago, and you bring him in, you try and make a trade. But what would it trade take to keep him in the NFC? You'd have to give up a ton if you're the Niners. So is he that guy? I don't think Aaron Rodgers ends up there. I think, and Tom Brady, by the way, the rumor is, because Gronkowski started this, he was interviewed and says, Tom Brady, if he plays next year, he's playing in Florida. He's either playing for the Buccaneers or he's playing for the Dolphins. His kids go to private school in Miami. They go, Tom Brady's not leaving the state of Florida. That was interesting. So I don't know what the Raiders do. I think the Raiders make a major move, and that either means Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson. That's a major move.
If you're the 49ers, you have such a great culture. Why would you bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's anti-culture? The guy's just an absolute bad leader. Why would you bring in somebody like that? You already have such a good thing going. And Brock Purdy got hurt and he couldn't play in the last game. He was undefeated. I mean, do I think Brock Purdy's the best player in the NFL? No, but I think Brock Purdy was great, and when he came in and did his job. So people to say he might not be that guy. Dude, for me, he is. Why? He's proven a lot more than Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's your decision you're making. Is he the franchise guy? Is he your guy the next 10 to 15 years? That's the decision John Lynch Jr. has to make right now.
Yeah, sell high and buy low. Is that what you're supposed to do? Trey Lance is still a hot commodity for a lot of people. Get rid of him. You can get something great in return. Brock Purdy, for me, showed enough that he's the franchise quarterback. He won. What do you want the guy to do? He wasn't throwing a million touchdowns, but he won all the games he was supposed to. He won every game he started and finished. That's my quarterback. I would absolutely stick with Brock Purdy. I would not bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers who could blow the whole thing up. I would stick with Brock Purdy.
I'm kind of with Josh here. I don't think I'd bring in anybody. I think I would just ride with Purdy or ride with Lance, whichever one you feel comfortable with. Do not do – this is a classic college football tactic, so I don't think Shanahan would do it. But don't do like the, hey, you play first half and then other guy gets second half, because if you have two QBs, you have no QBs. I am a firm believer in that. And I think it's also just such a bad situation when you have a QB battle and neither can play the game right now. Like, hey, we have two guys to choose from. All right, let's get them on the field. Well, here's the thing. Let's turn on the film, because that's all we got right now is film. Neither of them can play football right now. I agree with you. Like, Aaron Rodgers would, I think, just be bad. If you bring in Brady, you're getting 1 year. Let's be honest. If you get him, it's 1 year. It's 1 year, and if you get the title, great. But if you don't, you just wasted another year with this team. Shanahan's proven that he's a good enough coach that he can win it. Right now in the NFC, it's Eagles right now. That's who's running it. But you don't have like 4 top QBs that you got to worry about like the AFC. And if Brock Purdy's healthy that whole game, I'm not saying they win it, but what happens? Like that game's obviously a lot different. So Niners, just stick with what you got. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got something working right now. You don't have to worry about Mahomes unless you make it to the other side, or Allen or Burrow or Herbert. You just have to worry about Hurts and Stafford. Then Aaron's going to be gone. Like, it's Fields with his bull crap that we called weapons in Chicago. Yeah, see it, buddy. Like, no, you don't have to worry about nothing.
All right, so here's the other thing with Purdy. He doesn't make any money. It helps the 49ers out tremendously. They have a quarterback that doesn't make any money. Everyone else makes money. The Aaron Rodgers move is interesting wherever he goes, because they say you won't take a big cap hit. The Packers basically, ate the cap hit on that. So whoever gets Aaron Rodgers is kind of getting a deal. He's going to be, almost 40 years old. But at the same time, he says he's still an MVP type player. A year ago at this time, he was the MVP of the league. So there's talent out there. So I'll ask you guys the same question we asked a few weeks ago. Who's your prediction? Raiders quarterback in 2023.
I think they're going to draft a quarterback. I think they go with the draft.
You think
I'm looking at the free agent quarterbacks right now, and it's pitiful. I mean, if you want,
it always is.
Baker Mayfield. I mean, if you want Baker Mayfield, it's like Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo, which I think would actually be a good move for them if it went Jimmy Garoppolo, Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones, Case Keenum, Mason Rudolph. There's nothing. Geno Smith.
Please.
I don't know. Please. I think they go with the draft. I think Mario's boy Will Levis, next quarterback of the Raiders.
That's far from my boy.
Everybody has Levis with the Colts. Everybody has him going to the Colts no matter what. All right, so here real quick, now that you said this, and by the way, I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why. I'm going Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders. So D'Amico Ryans goes back to the Texans, okay? Wife's family lives there. D'Amico played there, the whole deal. They went defensive coach, which is very strange. Usually when you fire a coach, you go opposite of what the other guy was, and Lovie Smith was a defensive guy. They stayed with the defensive guy. Who are the Texans supposed to draft this year? A quarterback, right? They're supposed to take a quarterback. This hire is really bizarre. I understand he's a hell of a coach, and it's a great story going back to the Texans, but it seems really weird that you go back to a defensive coordinator type coach when you know you're bringing in a guy like either Stroud or Bryce Young or Levis, whoever they bring in, that they're going to sit there and say, this is the connection. And we've seen this before. We saw it in Miami. It does not usually go well with a young quarterback with a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, I think the Texans
are the Texans. Yeah,
they're the Texans. I think their roster actually isn't as bad as people make it out to be. They probably didn't want to give up the draft pick with Sean Payton because they're in a rebuild, which they're always in a rebuild. The Houston Texans are constantly in a rebuild. When they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, you say, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But it's the Houston Texans, which it was. Everybody knew it. Bill O'Brien, who went to Alabama and pissed down his leg, shocker. He's one that did that. D'Amico Ryans, though, he was the guy everybody spoke about all year. He's the next big-time head coach. He's the next big-time head coach. If you remember, D'Amico Ryans was a really good player on the Houston Texans. So somewhat he's going back home to where he played his career. I like the move. I think the Texans are so far away from being real contenders. But like I said, their roster isn't that bad, and they're in a division that nobody really knows what it's going to be. Are we really going to trust the Jacksonville Jaguars? They're probably going to win the division next year, but we don't know that. We can't really trust the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Titans, the roster is awful. The Colts are a mess. If you're the Texans, you're like, what are we dealing with? There's not a lot of competition in our division.
The defensive move didn't make a lot of sense to me either, Dave. But like the outpour and the fact that like Denver wanted him really badly, like I just have a feeling that it's like, okay, you're a hot topic. You're the hot guy or gal that everyone wants, at the bar. Like that's you. Like that's this guy. So like it's to me, I'm like, okay, this was an amazing hire by the Texans. Whether he's an offensive guy or defense guy, he is the guy that was the right hire. And honestly, like if I was him too, I would take that situation over the Broncos. You don't have any really future to play with if stuff keeps going sideways. You have to win now or you're screwed. And if I go to Houston, I get to see possibly Jeff Saturday twice a year, which thank you, Lord. That it's going to be keep running it back with Saturday. It's always entertaining. And then I'm going to get the Titans twice, which is tough with Vrabel, but like you said, roster's crap. And I don't know if Tannehill, what the hell he's going to be or at coming next year. So I have to worry about Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, which that will be a battle. But that's almost probably 3 out of 4 wins right there that you just get automatically. So yeah, to me, if I'm Ryans, I'm like, yeah, why would I go deal with the Denver headache when I can go to Houston and get Bryce Young and lay low a little bit? And if I mess up, not a lot of people care that much. I still have time to mess up. It's not like if I mess up 2 games in a row, everyone's coming out my head because I just lost a chance to go to the playoffs and I have Herbert next week or I have, Mahomes next week and it's going to be 3 in a row. So I think it's a great calculated move by Ryans, smart guy.
Talent-wise, the Denver defense is pretty fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion. But you're right. You'd have to go against Andy Reid. You'd have to go against all the weapons on the Chargers. The divisions are night and day. The AFC South stinks. You guys are absolutely right. There's one team in that division that's up and coming, and that's Jacksonville. It's interesting to see which way everything ends up going. A couple things, guys. I just brought up the salary cap a little bit because I talked about quarterback hits. The NFL has increased the salary cap for next year. I don't know if you guys caught this at all, but the NFL announced yesterday that they're going to increase the salary cap to $224.8 million actually dollars per roster. So that's an increase that basically gives each team in the NFL an increase of $16.5 million. So teams who have to figure out where they are under the cap, and obviously the Chargers guy, Ed McGuire, is the guy that's the one in charge of getting this all done for them. He'll have to figure it out, but he has a little bit more money to play with, which is good news for the Chargers. And the Chargers, obviously going to have to figure out what they're going to do in a few years with this whole Justin Herbert situation, because he's obviously going to get that money. And then it becomes really tough for these GMs to figure out what you do when you have a quarterback that's making $50 million a year.
Yeah. I mean, is there any free agents that jump into your head of who the Chargers should look at? I see two guys. Excuse me. I see two guys immediately. Yeah. I like Daron Payne of the Washington Commanders. He's a defensive tackle. He's a run stopper. There's something the Chargers desperately need. And he made the Pro Bowl, I believe, this year. And Dalvin Tomlinson, shocker, two Alabama guys, but he's the same exact player. They're actually on the same college team. I was on the same college team with them, so I know them pretty well. They're good guys. Dalvin Tomlinson played for the Minnesota Vikings, absolute run stopper. This is what they do. This is what the Chargers need. I mean, we talk about needs. For me, I've said it the last 3 shows. The Chargers need to stop the run. You can't win big games or really many games if you can't own the line of scrimmage. The Chargers got pushed around, it seemed like, for most of the season on the line of scrimmage. I'm going with the defensive line. Somewhere on the defensive line, anywhere on the defensive line for me.
Extend Bandy, or franchise tag. No, love Bandy. Hope he stays. But yeah, I mean, my first guy comes to my head. I don't think they can afford him at all. They definitely have to move like a lot of pieces around, and I don't have numbers in front of me for people at home. So if I'm going to say this, and you're like, oh, you can't afford him. Like, I know this, dude. I'm just spitting out stuff. I have to make moves around it. Tony Pollard would be like a dream come true, right? I mean, him and Eckler.
He might be out for a long, long time.
Yeah, cheaper. That brings the cost down a little bit, but I mean, just him right away with we get Kellen Moore too, and him and Eckler in the backfield would be absolutely beautiful. That was the first guy that popped in my head.
So you're going offense, Josh going defense. It's I tell you what, I got to take a deeper dive into what's available out there and what the Chargers are going to do. I'm kind of curious to know, but guys do move around. We see it all the time. Josh, you're going to say something?
I'm going to mention some undrafted free agents on the Chargers heading into this offseason. You guys tell me if you want these guys back. I'm just going to name them all. Tell me who you want back, who you don't want back. Kyle Van Noy, undrafted free agent. Chase Daniel, Bryce Callahan, Christian Covington, Morgan Fox, Nasir Adderley, DeAndre Carter, Will Clapp, and then it's a bunch of backups. Jalen Guyton, Trey Pipkins, Drew Tranquil, Storm Norton, also Mario's boy, Braden Fayoko, Michael Bandy, Cameron Dicker, Easton Stick, Donald Parham. Do you guys want any of those guys back?
I want a lot of those guys back, actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go slower. You're going too fast. Just read the list and we'll say yes or no. Okay?
Okay. Kyle Van Noy.
Take it or leave it. I don't care.
I'll take him.
I'm fine either way.
I like the way he played at the end of the year. Chase Daniel.
I'm a big Daniel guy.
I don't want him. Yeah, I don't want him. I actually have a foreshadow of who I want as the backup quarterback. Bryce Callahan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want him. Christian Covington, defensive tackle.
Don't care. Don't need him.
There's the door.
Don't care either. There's the door. Morgan Fox.
I'll
take Morgan Fox.
I want Morgan Fox, dude. He plays with some freaking passion and made some plays this year.
Yeah.
Great looking dog. Nasir Adderley.
Yeah.
Okay. If you can upgrade, fine, but he played fine.
All right, DeAndre Carter.
Bye. He's creating competition for your boy Bandy.
Yeah. That's a tough one. The fact I can't. No one can say DeAndre Carter without me thinking that they try to promote him for Pro Bowl. I was like, what are we doing here? That's the guy we're promoting. Great guy, great player. Just saying. Some other guys on the roster probably could promote.
Yeah, he can go. Will Clapp, the center. He can go for me.
Yep.
I'm gonna name a few guys that I think you guys are gonna agree with. Richard Rodgers, tight end. Traylor Davison, defensive tackle. Troy Reader, linebacker. They can all go for me. None of them really made any impact, right?
Yep. Start the car.
J.K. Scott, the punter.
Keep him. Great year.
I'd keep him. Jalen Guyton.
He can go.
He can go for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trey Pipkins.
Keep, buddy. Keep him.
Keep him
Kiss
as a reserve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew Tranquil. Absolutely keep him. I love
him.
Drew Tranquil.
Keep.
Pulling up with the Bears. Watch.
Storm Norton.
He's such a bear.
He is a bear. Am I right?
He is a bear. Yeah,
He's a
that's,
bear.
Yeah, that's such
What's
a bear.
Notre Dame? There'll be a bear. There'll be a C on the side of his helmet next year.
Yeah.
Storm
Norton.
C.
Oh, let me shut the door on him.
Yeah, sounds like a weatherman. Bye.
Braden Fayoko. He filled in this year at D tackle.
Okay, bye.
Dude, Charger fans love Braden Fayoko.
That's fine. Charger fans watch the team that's not in the Super Bowl.
All right. What do you think, Mario?
just off of Dave's reaction, I'm keeping him.
There you go.
I just
want better. I just want better. Go ahead.
That's fair.
He's an exclusive restricted free agent. So, and so is Michael Bandy, and so is Cameron Dicker, and so is Easton Stick. Those are the last guys remaining.
Okay, bring Dicker back.
Yeah, Easton Stick's undrafted free agent, but he's third quarterback. You can go. I don't even know why you're on the team. Donald Parham's the last guy tied in. I actually like Donald Parham when he played. He's a restricted free agent. I thought he was good. He's like 6'9". What is he, like 6'8"? Yeah, why not keep the guy? Throw it up.
He's never available, though.
Dude, Josh, I saw him almost die. We were at a game, we thought he almost got killed. Remember the Chiefs game in the end zone?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
I don't mind him.
It was the game 2 years ago, Mario. The game was in Los Angeles, and he in the end zone. He was laying right in front of us. We're in the front row. We're like, oh my god, is this guy dead? He just died on the football. It's scary as hell.
Okay, so I'm glad you guys brought that up. Not the part that we almost died. I'm glad we talked about the tight end because this is going to lead into the next thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the NFL.
Who's your backup quarterback? Who's your backup quarterback?
Hey, hold on. This all goes together. It all goes together. Okay.
Oh god.
All right.
All comes together. The tight end and the quarterback come together here. So Kellen Moore, Chargers picked him up. The number one unrestricted free agent on the Dallas Cowboys is Dalton Schultz. I would like for the Chargers to get Dalton Schultz. I think Dalton Schultz would pair up nicely with Gerald Everett. I think that would be a great pairing at tight end. Here's the other thing. Cooper Rush is also an undrafted free agent. Bring him in. He already knows the system. I actually feel way more comfortable with him getting into the game other than Chase Daniel, who looks like the football's a hot potato out there. There's no what the hell to do with it. So I would bring Cooper Rush. He already is familiar with the system. Dalton Schultz is a good tight end. And I know that's going to kill Mario's draft pick. So, Mario, who would you draft if you're the Chargers' 21st pick?
All right. 21st pick in the 2023 draft. Mario Herron steps up to the plate and he drafts. You're gonna think I'm gonna say this one guy, but I'm gonna tell this guy, Michael Mayer, sit down. I'm not.
No, really.
Didn't taken before. Yeah,
I thought for sure you're going Michael Mayer.
No,
that's why I brought it available. Yeah.
I thought about it a lot. I wanted to, but Darnell Washington, come here, dude. Georgia player, amazing size, 6'7", 270, very quick for his size, very fast, amazing blocker, and we need blocking. We're in the run game. We need some more extra blocking. Give me like more of a George Kittle type. I'm fine with it. Route running, not the best. We're probably going to need to improve that one. Has a pretty good catch radius. Yeah, he didn't get as many targets at Georgia because of Bowers, and Bowers is a generational talent at tight end. But with Darnell Washington's size, his potential, and I'm going to say this again for every Charger fan to hear that wants Michael Mayer, and that's Michael will probably be a good player. Darnell went to Georgia. Trust the SEC. Die by the SEC. All my Big Ten friends that listen to the show are probably turning me off. But every Georgia player I see that's come out from last year's team and probably from this year's team has gone above and beyond in the NFL. Why am I blanking on his freaking name? Help me out here.
I don't know what you're saying. Give us a clue.
Okay, I can't remember his name right now. Georgia tackle, we bought guard tackle. We got him in like the 6th round. Killer this year. Yes. Keep it coming, dude. Look at him. Okay. Jordan Davis killed it this year. Like, get more Georgia guys in here. They're going to build up the culture. Darnell Washington's my first pick.
Okay, so for you people that are listening to the show that don't know who Darnell Washington is, he's number 0 for Georgia. He's 6'7", 270 pounds. You can't miss him when he's on your TV. He had 2 touchdowns this year 28 catches, but the guy is an absolute freak. And I'm with Mario. He's a steal. I think he was a guy who was underutilized at Georgia. Everybody, even Georgia fans will tell you he's underutilized. The only problem, and Mario just alluded to it, the guy in front of him is Rob Gronkowski. And I'm not exaggerating when I say the guy in front of him is Rob Gronkowski. Brock Bowers is the best college tight end I have ever seen. And that includes Eric Ebron and Kyle Pitts. I mean, Brock Bowers, as a true freshman, was lighting up everybody. That's why this guy didn't get that much love. And Stetson Bennett was his quarterback. If we're going to go to Stetson Bennett as a quarterback, he's not exactly tearing apart the field. So it's Darnell Washington. I love the pick by Mario. Did not think he's going to go there. Thought you were going to go Michael Mayer. But Darnell Washington is awesome, dude. I would love that pick. Dave, who do you have as the first pick for the Chargers?
So you two guys agreed. I'm shocked.
That's not my pick.
That's
not my pick.
Oh, I think
I just really like this pick.
Okay.
It's not my pick, but that's
your pick.
No, I like Mario's thinking outside the box. That's why he makes the big money at Odyssey.
Oh, you go first, Josh.
Yeah. Like
you go
you want me to
first.
go my person?
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna laugh at me, all right?
No, I'd be really upset if you take my guy. Go ahead.
No, I don't think you're gonna laugh at me. I think it's just I'm kind of with Mario. I don't know if he's gonna last to the 21st pick because he's the best at his position. Is Bijan Robinson for Texas, the running back. Josh Kelly seems like a phenomenal human being. A lot of Chargers seem like great guys. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care how good of a guy you are. Josh Kelly's longest run this season was 22 yards, which kind of sums up Josh Kelly's career with the Chargers. Never, ever breaks off a big run.
He had longer runs running to the sideline when Austin Eckler was coming back in the game. Yeah.
I have longer runs after I eat too much food. I have longer runs when I drink too much coffee. This guy, Bijan Robinson, is a really good player. If you're watching this show, you're familiar with Bijan Robinson. He gets promoted more than any player in college football that doesn't play quarterback. Yeah. He's a running back for Texas. He's a really good player. I don't like Josh Kelly. We can move on from him or demote him to the number 3. Austin Eckler needs a break. And honestly, we're pro Austin Eckler on the show, but I will admit, Austin Eckler, from a moves elusiveness perspective, he's not great. He's not a great running back. He's really good catching the ball. Not the best running back for me. I'd go Bijan Robinson.
What's the age on Eckler right now? You guys have any idea? What's his exact age?
28.
I'm going to say 28.
Yeah.
He's 27.
Okay, so I love that pick by you, Josh, because you're right. Bijan Robinson is, and I don't know if he's available, but we've seen running backs who have slipped in the draft all the time. It's a great pick because Austin Eckler, let's be honest, running backs don't last as long as what Eckler has already. So you go, how many years does he have left? And people go, what are you talking about? He's one of the best players in the NFL right now. And the thing is, it's right now. I mean, even Derrick Henry, concern, how much time does Derrick Henry have left? The same situation. So let's talk about the running back for the future and what he can do. Is it Bijan Robinson? That's not a bad pick at all. If he was one of those guys that's available at 21, and you go, we're just going to draft the best guy available, it would be him. At 21 would be tough. Michael Mayer is the guy everybody I know is talking about, the tight end from Notre Dame. Look, dude, he's not going to be available at 21. That's just wishful thinking. He's just not. Everybody knows who he is right now across the country as we get ready for the draft because he's that outstanding. He's a guy that you're going to see taken somewhere in the top 11 picks. I just don't see him falling all the way to 21. And that's as we do right now. Before I give you my picks, I'm going to give you some guys out there, what they have, okay? Daniel Jeremiah, he has tight end Dalton Kincaid from Utah, okay? Dane Brugler from The Athletic has Michael Mayer. Bucky Brooks has Bijan Robinson, Josh. Chris Trapasso from CBS Sports has offensive lineman Osiris Torrance from Florida. And here you go. Here's my pick. I'm going Mario style here. I'm going SEC. Staying in the SEC, and it's a different position. I'm going Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver, Tennessee.
Burners.
Josh Tyne, what do you think? Am I way off?
No, I like Jalen Hyatt. He just single-handedly beat Alabama this year, so it would be really hard to root for him. But I do root for Josh Palmer, and he went to Tennessee also. So I'd be cool with Jalen Hyatt. The dude's a baller.
Before you go, Dave, I just want to reiterate something.
Where am I going? You cut me off.
No, before you give your thing, but he didn't single-handedly beat Alabama. He single-handedly embarrassed, tortured the city.
Hey, calm down, dude. Relax.
5 touchdowns and 200.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I've an Alabama fan. I've never seen one player do that to Alabama like that ever. Yeah. Ever. The only guy I can think of is Johnny Manziel and Cam Newton, but they're quarterbacks. No position players ever done that to Alabama.
Yeah.
Now, Jalen Hyatt might be a guy that, as the tape's going to show, he did it against Alabama. There are a bunch of guys on that defensive side of the ball that are going to go in the first round for Alabama this year. Jalen could go to Indianapolis during the combine and just tear it up, and all of a sudden he's a top 12 pick, and he's not available at 21. But as of right now, as far as I know, I'm the only guy that's saying it. Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver, Tennessee, to the Chargers. I think that opens things up. I think it opens things up down the road, depending what they're going to do with Keenan Allen. But as you guys said, man, he's a guy that it takes control. He's used to being a number one, and at the same time, he has a lot of speed. I mean, how can you not want that? And when I look at Jalen Hyatt and I look at CeeDee Lamb, I'm going Jalen Hyatt kind of fits the mold. And so again, maybe I'm way off. I was asked Josh on these offensive things because I know he has a better idea than I do. But on this whole deal, I think Jalen Hyatt would be my pick.
I'm proud of you guys. I think your pick is great. I think Mario's pick was great. Didn't see either one of those picks coming, but I really like your guys' picks. Good job.
Man, I wish we had 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, seriously. I wouldn't be upset with any of those 3, though.
No, I couldn't agree more with David about Michael Mayer being drafted in the top 11. There's no shot that guy falls to 21. Anybody that watched Notre Dame this year, he was the guy. Been the guy for the last 2 years for Notre Dame. There's no way he drops the Chargers.
If he drops to 21, something's wrong. You know what I mean?
I think people are
physical. There's something weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Anybody that puts Michael Mayer at 21, I think, is lazy. When you're doing these mock drafts, like you're just not paying attention to the games. If you're dropping him down to 21, everybody in the NFL wants a tight end. They want 2 tight ends actually. Everybody in the NFL wants 2 tight ends. No shot. Michael Mayer falls to 20. If Michael Mayer falls to 21, I'll walk from Nashville to Memphis.
No,
Not California.
It's a long walk. It's a long walk.
It's a far walk,
dude. But it's like Green Bay's not going to pass up on them. That's the team. I'm like, so like they're not. If they keep Rodgers or don't keep Rodgers, how the hell do they pass up on him? You know,
they won't.
Jordan looks.
You can't.
No one is.
Oh, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Here's and we went through a lot of NFL news today, guys. The most shocking and embarrassing news in the NFL today is Tyler Huntley named to the Pro Bowl.
Oh,
all right. It is insane. It's embarrassing for the league. Again, I'm going to give you his stats. He threw for a total of 658 yards, okay, this year. 2 touchdowns on the season, 3 interceptions, and he's in the Pro Bowl. What are we doing? You're embarrassing your league. Now, here's the question. Carr stinks for the Raiders, and you're going, all right, which other AFC quarterbacks could you possibly grab? I don't know if Carr is even available. He's on the Raiders are doing weird things with Carr where they're going to cut him. They haven't told Carr go out and try and find a trade partner yet, so he's kind of stuck. And it's so Raiders, you know, just like we said, it's so Texans the way they went about things. This is so Raiders of going, what the hell is going on? And there's no way the Raiders are going to let Carr play in the Pro Bowl, even if it's basically playing tag, because if he suffers an injury, the Raiders owe him $110 million. So you have Tyler Huntley in the Pro Bowl. How does that happen?
Cancel the Pro Bowl. Cancel the Pro Bowl. Why are we doing
basically
this?
I'm trying to think of like QBs.
It's like flag football. It's crazy.
Who's in the Pro Bowl for the AFC? Who's in there? Do we know?
Well, obviously, Justin pulled his name out. He's not interested in doing it because he had the surgery. I mean,
was Lawrence
honestly,
in it?
Burrow and Mahomes aren't in it, obviously.
I think you'd say Russell Wilson. You stunk, but just not as embarrassing as Tyler Huntley.
You can't put Russell Wilson.
Good God.
Carr's in
you
it.
Can't put Tyler Huntley.
Carr's in the Pro Bowl, it says?
Yeah, he's a replacement. Lawrence is Huntley. Lawrence and Carr are the replacements.
Oh my gosh. I thought Carr wasn't supposed to be in this thing. I thought the Raiders were trying to protect him.
No, he's in there.
They don't even hit in the Pro Bowl, though.
Yeah.
No, but you can still blow your non-contact injury. Yeah.
So Tua pulled out. Justin Herbert pulled out.
Tua doesn't even know the Pro Bowl.
Mahomes and Burrow are out. Lamar Jackson's out. What'd you say?
What?
This is a good trivia question in like 5 years.
Philip Rivers doesn't pull out. Is that what you said?
No, I said Tua doesn't even know the Pro Bowl's happening.
Well, that too, Josh.
Dude,
I like this is
wrong, dude.
Who, you or me? Why would you say that?
Yours is way worse than what I said.
Oh, I don't
way
think
worse.
So. I'm not trying to pull hairs here, but
Good God.
So yeah,
What's wrong with you?
Jared Goff's replacing, Pollard's on in, Caffrey's replacing. Dude, I just can't believe like this is gonna be a crazy trivia question. It is gonna be the most insane trivia question. If you're one of those people that it's like Tuesday night trivia, sports.
Something Schwab.
Who replaced Josh Allen? You better and you get Tyler Huntley. You're winning the game, dude.
Dude, what the hell's going on? Yeah,
it's completely embarrassing.
I'll put Jacoby Brissett over Tyler Huntley.
Yeah,
Jameis Mills is like, I can't catch a break. Yeah,
can he pick it?
Oh, dude, he sucks.
Pickett? But I mean, he had a better year than Huntley did.
How about
they both? Yeah, that's like beat Singer the smartest person in the dumb class.
Yeah.
I would have done
Ryan.
Zach Wilson just for the fun of it.
Oh my gosh.
We should end the show.
I think of Mac Jones, maybe. Yeah. This. That was Bolt City podcast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. God dang. What a little crazy. All right, we're going to be back. We'll be back in a couple days. And again, we'll give you insight of what the Chargers are doing. Yeah, news is just coming down the pipe right now for the Chargers and for the NFL. We'll have more news for you and giving our opinion on what's going to happen next. Again, for Josh Palet and Mario Herron, I'm Dave Palet. Thanks again for listening to the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey.